Howdy freeze dryers and potential future sous viders. Welcome back to Live Life Simple. Today I want to go over a product that has been no stranger lately on our channel here, because the more I use this sous vide, the more I find it helpful for freeze drying, and I find it helpful for cooking freeze dried food before and after freeze drying. It really helps lock in juiciness, helps lock in flavor, and it really just cooks it to the perfect temperature every time. So today we're going to unbox this Anova Nano precision cooker is what they call it, not sous vide. I think sous vide is kind of the generic term. I'm going to do a quick review. We're going to do an entire cook, and I'm going to kind of explain all the benefits and ways it can help you, even if you're not a freeze dryer. Coming up. So before I crack this open, I want to kind of explain what sous vide is. It's actually just a small cooker. It heats water, it maintains a temperature in the water, and your food actually goes inside of a bag, inside of that water, not actually touching the water, but that warm water is what cooks that food inside the bag. What that does is keeps all of the moisture and the tenderness and the juiciness and the flavor of whatever you're cooking. It keeps it locked inside that bag, and it makes a miniature kind of pressure cooker almost. And the most important part of that way of cooking is that it never strays away from the temperature you set it at, so you can never overcook it, and it always maintains that perfect temperature you're looking for. If you're doing a steak, it'll maintain complete medium rare all the way through the cook for 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, whatever. You can't overdo it. And you'll kind of see better what I'm talking about later when we do a cook with the sous vide. But let's get into cracking this box open. So this is the Anova Nano, and I want to say before I go through any of this that I'm not a paid spokesperson, and I'm doing this because I like the products. Just like everything else that I promote on this channel, I actually use them, so it makes it easy for me to promote them. This is a very good sous vide precision cooker for the price. Right now I think it's about $70. There are more expensive ones. I can't justify the extra cost at this point. And the unboxing in this video is gonna be real short because there's really not much in here. There's a very small packet, just has some basic information explaining what each of the keys do, and just a warranty. The only other thing in the box is the actual sous vide cooker. And you'll notice that a sous vide pretty much just looks like a flashlight or something. But what this does is it screws onto the side of a pot or a pan. But I think the best way to show you how this thing can shine is to get into a cook. So let's do that. I'm actually going to do a New York strip today. All we need to do is throw it in a bag. You can throw other ingredients in with it. We're just gonna cook it plain today because I'm gonna make a steak freeze drying video that will kind of go hand in hand with this video as well. So the first thing I need to do is trim up these steaks, and then this just fits right on the side of really just any kind of pot or pan. You want something that's pretty deep. You can put a pretty good amount of water in. Because there's a minimum and maximum level, you need your water level to be somewhere in between there. So we're just gonna pop these into a bag, a food saver type bag. It's very delicious if you can add broths or rosemary or different herbs or spices, marinades, things like that to cook these in. Makes an enormous difference for your flavor. I'm going to add a few sprigs of rosemary on top there, and then maybe just a dash of Worcestershire, and then a pretty diluted mixture of vegetable broth. We're gonna clip this right to the side of this pot. You want everything to be underwater. You can either use one of the preloaded recipes on the sous vide, or you can just manually enter it in. I'm gonna do 130 for 2 hours. That'll give us a medium rare steak. And if you choose, you can follow their ingredients, their recipes, and all of that stuff. I tend to just kind of get a baseline for what I'm cooking. I like to make my own recipes, but there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of just different recipes, from meats to vegetables to stews, all kinds of different stuff. You can see the temperature changing, and what it's actually doing is circulating the water. You can see the water moving around. The great thing about a sous vide is it maintains an exact temperature by circulating the water. This unit maintains that temperature at the perfect temperature for the entire cook time. And really the toughest part about sous vide is just throwing everything in the bag, which is not even tough at all. This is hands-free for 2 hours now. We're just gonna let this hang out for 2 hours, and we'll check back in on it, and it should be good to go. And the sous vide is all done. That's all there is to it. 2 hours. It was set at 130 degrees. So this is just gonna cook in its own juices. You can imagine how tender and how good this is gonna taste. So if you really wanted to take this to the finish line, I would normally throw it onto a grill and just sear it on both sides for about a minute just to crisp it. But that right there is a home run as far as I'm concerned. Those look really, really good. If you threw those on the grill for about a minute on each side, you would have probably one of the best steaks you've ever had in your life. And what you are left with is a steak that'll pretty much melt in your mouth. That's just been cooked in its own juices. It's cooked to the perfect temperature that you set it for. You can finish this off in a pan or on the grill or however you want to finish this off if you just want that crisp on the outside. But it is so tender and so infused with whatever flavor or herbs or vegetables or whatever you cook with it. So now that our cook is complete, there's nothing to clean up because this actually never touched any of the food. It just was in water, so cleanup is super easy. If you're a freeze dryer, you can greatly benefit from one of these. They're not expensive. These are great for cooking food before you freeze dry them. They're also very good for rehydrating foods. Just because you can infuse all kinds of flavors and stuff into the food and it keeps that perfect temperature the whole time. And if you're not a freeze dryer, welcome and thanks for watching today. If you have a second, click subscribe on this rocking chair down here. We do primarily cooking and gardening and homesteading and freeze drying, food preservation, things like that. If you found the video today helpful or useful, just do us a quick favor and press that like button real quick. And in the meantime, this is Retired at 40. Remember to live life simple. We'll catch you next week.